New tonight, Redstone Arsenal is celebrating its 80th anniversary. All this week, WAAY 31 is honoring the Army's post legacy with a series of special reports exploring its history, the important work going on there, and its growing impact on Huntsville in North Alabama. We begin with a look back at how it all started. The missiles and moonshots Redstone is known for began with mustard gas and munitions and the foresight of an Army general who believed in what Redstone could be. Here's WAAY 31's Dan Schaefer.
Today, Redstone Arsenal is a defense, aerospace, and economic juggernaut in North Alabama, home to 78 government agencies and companies. 44,000 service members and civilians work there. Another 108,000 indirect jobs are supported by its activities. All told, Redstone generates almost $30 billion a year in economic benefits to the area. But its beginnings are much more down to earth. Redstone's roots can be traced back to the trenches of World War I and the first widespread use of chemical weapons. Tens of thousands of soldiers were killed by them. In 1941, at a time when the United States was being drawn into a second World War, the Army was determined to get the upper hand. Huntsville Arsenal was built to meet that need.
And Huntsville Arsenal was set up as a chemical warfare service operation. They produced smoke munitions, incendiaries, and also even controversial things like mustard gas.
Army Materiel Command historian Russ Rogers says the Army chose this site for a variety of reasons. Munitions is a dangerous business. They needed plenty of room in case of accidents, and there were several. The site had access to the Tennessee River and railroads for transportation and an available labor pool. Plus, they liked its inland location.
So you don't necessarily want to put an arsenal building chemical munitions right on the coast of the United States, where it was maybe more vulnerable to like naval operations from prospective enemies.
Huntsville Arsenal became Redstone around 1943. The facility served the Army well. Thousands of workers produced tens of millions of rounds of munitions. When World War II ended, the arsenal was slated to be sold off. But enter the man you might call the father of Redstone Arsenal, Colonel Holger Toftoy. West Point grad, munitions expert, soon to be known as Mr. Missile. He recognized that the weapons of war were changing.
He's the guy that really ultimately made this happen. I mean, people talk about von Braun, people talk about General Medeiros, and there are other players, don't get me wrong, but the guy who was the driving force was Toftoy.
In 1944, Toftoy was chief of the Army Ordnance Technical Intelligence Team. In the waning days of World War II, he was in Europe tasked with retrieving V-2 rockets, like this one on display at the U.S. Space and Rockets Center, and the scientists who developed them, Wernher von Braun and his team, and relocating them to Fort Bliss, Texas. Well, Toftoy saw an opportunity to pair the Army's new interest in missiles with the existing facility already in Huntsville.
He basically went to the Pentagon and to Congress and begged them, bring those guys and put them here at Huntsville Arsenal. It's a good location to put them here, not as isolated as Fort Bliss.
It worked. With von Braun and his team now set up at Redstone, in the 1950s, the Army took the lead in rocketry research for the U.S. military.
And as the Army was doing this rocketry research, of course, one of the angles was, well, you know, space exploration, put satellites into space and things of that nature.
By the way, the Redstone name, well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that one out, but nothing in Rogers' records indicate who came up with it.
They just looked at the soil and it was red and someone came up with a term.
Dan Schaefer, WAAY 31 News.
As we celebrate Redstone's 80th anniversary here in Madison County, all this week we'll be presenting special reports on its impact on the area leading up to the anniversary celebration on July 1st. All of our reports can be found on our website, waaytv.com.